know why that. I did it last night. It should have been set up for tonight. Okay. Hi, crazy boy. Oh, crazy boy. Oh, yeah. For whatever reason, the one that I had scheduled last night for tonight wasn't there. Yeah, but I can do it now. Yeah. Okay. So, you're making your funny faces. Yeah. Are you ready? Are you ready for story time? Okay. Hey guys. Yeah, that was weird. I every night after I do the live stream, I scheduled the one for the next night, and for whatever reason, it wasn't there tonight when I went to go live. So I had to set it up real quick, which took all of like a minute, but still, it's weird that it wasn't there. Okay, Mommy wants to read, and it helps if there's not a ton of noise. Mommy's brain is wonky. Let me sing a song to my people, Mom. So, as we continue through Christmas stories, there's a lot of empty wall. Let's readjust that. There we go. That's better, I think. Oh yeah, that's better. Okay. Just those. Then the second book we'll read for our Christian theme will be the story of the Lord's Prayer. So, let's start off with that, right, buddy? Must make noise, but also I hate noise. Darling, did you know that you can talk to God just as you talk to your mom or dad? And he'll probably understand better. You can learn to pray the prayer Jesus taught us. We call it the Lord's Prayer. That sounds right.
Put a letter tile into the apple.
Our Father, which art in heaven, I have a Father on earth, but you, God, are my heavenly Father. Okay. First of all, you made it loud again when I asked it to not be loud. So I'm taking that away for a little bit, okay? Hallowed be thy name. I will respect your name, God. Thy kingdom come. I pray that the whole world will love you, God. Thy will be done. I will do what you, God, want me to do. In earth as it is in heaven. I will listen to you always like the angels do in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Thank you, God, for my food each day. And forgive us our debts as we forgive our debtors. I will forgive other children who have hurt me. God, forgive me when I hurt others. Lead us not into temptation. Please, God, don't even let me see something that makes me want to do wrong. But deliver us from evil. God, keep me safe. For thine is the kingdom and the power and the glory forever. God, you are more powerful than anyone or anything. Be with me always. Amen. Okay. Good. Now let's get to our Christmas stories, right? Yeah. The Beaver's Christmas Tree. An extract from Pilgrims of the Wild by Gray Owl. Gray Owl is a naturalist and how do you say that tribe name? And a harrow. Oh gosh, I hope I didn't butcher that too much. Is his Native American wife. They are living in a log cabin and have adopted two beavers, McGinnis and McGinty, as pets. Those are weird names. I arrived home in the thick of the blizzard, and found the little cabin mighty snug to come into out of the storm. Anna Harrow had busied herself in crocheting bright wool borders on white sugar bags, split open and freshly laundered. And we now had these for window curtains, which gave everything a cozy, homely appearance. What's up? Why'd you poke me? Hmm? My snuggle? Oh, I would like a snuggle. I'm always down for snuggles. I like a good snuggle. And the herald said the beavers had missed me. McGinnis especially had seemed to search for something, and had spent much time at the door, looking up at it. I offered them the sticks of candy I had for them, on which they sat and ate with loud and mostly unmanneringly sounds of satisfaction. I laid out my small purchases, which the kindly shopkeeper had suggested that I make, saying as he did so that it must be lonesome in the woods, and that he liked to feel like we had Christmas back there too. And being now in a country where Christmas was recognized as a real festival, we decided that we ought to make all the good cheer we could, and so forget our troubles for a while. Personally, I'd always been too busy hunting to celebrate the festive season, but I was now a family man, and being sure of the date, we would now keep it in style. I whittled out some boards of dry cedar, painted them with Indian designs, and attached them to the sides and tops of the windows where they looked, if not too closely inspected, like plaques of beadwork. We painted hanging ornaments with tribal emblems and hung them in places where the light fell on them. We laid 2 rugs of deerskin, which were immediately seized as play toys by the 2 beavers, and had to be nailed down. We distributed colored candles in prominent places and hung a Japanese lantern from the rafter. On Christmas Eve, all was ready, but there was one thing missing, and O'Hara decided that the beavers were to have a Christmas tree. So while I lit the lantern and arranged the candles so their light fell on the decorations to the best advantage, I put apples and oranges and nuts and dishes on the table, and tended the saddle of deer meat that sizzled alongside the factory-made Christmas pudding that was boiling on top of the little stove. And O'Hara took an axe and snowshoes and went out into the starry Christmas night. She was gone a little longer than I expected, and on looking out, I saw her standing in rapt attention, listening. I asked her what she heard. Listen, she spoke softly. Hear the Christmas bells? And pointed upward. I listened. A light breeze had sprung up, and the flowing humming in the pine tops far above. The breeze was whispering at first, and swelling louder in low, undulating waves of sound, and sinking into a murmur, and ascending to a deep, strong, wavering note, fading again to a whisper. The pine trees are Christmas bells, and I had got a fine balsam fir, a very picture of a Christmas tree, which she wedged upright in a crevice in the floor poles. On top of it, she put a little candle, and on the limb she tied candies, pieces of apple, and small delicacies from the table, till they, so they hung there by strings and could be reached. The beavers viewed these preparations with no particular enthusiasm, but before long, attracted by the odor of the tree, they found the hanging tidbits and sampled them. Soon they were busy cutting the strings and pulling them down, and eating them with great gusto. And we set our own feast on the table, and as we ate we watched them. They soon consumed all there was on the tree, and as these were replaced, the little creatures stood on their hind legs and grabbed and pulled at their presents. The beavers stole choice morsels from each other, pushing and shoving so that one would sometimes fall and scramble to his feet again as hastily as possible, for fear everything would be gone before he got up. While they screeched and chattered and squealed in their excitement, we forgot our supper and laughed and called out to them, and they would run to us excitedly and back to the tree with little noises as if to say, "Look what we found!" And when they could eat no more, they started to carry away tidbits, sometimes between their teeth, on all fours, or staggering along upright with some prized tidbit clutched tightly in their arms, each apparently bent on getting all that they could while it lasted. And when we thought they had enough and no longer made replacements, McGinty, the wise and the thrifty, pulled down the tree and started away with it, as though she figured on another crop appearing later and had decided to corner the source of supply. It was the best fun of the evening, and instead of us making a festival for them, they had made one for us, and provided us with a Christmas entertainment such as had never been seen in any other home, I'm pretty sure. And Anna Harrow was so happy to see her tree well appreciated, and the beavers were so happy to use it, and everybody seemed to be so thoroughly enjoying themselves that I must be happy too, just to see them so. Wild Wood in Winter, adapted from The Wind in the Willows by Kenneth Graham. I don't know if I pronounced that right. Mole and Rat live together. Mole has often wanted to meet Mr. Badger, but Badger lives in the wild wood, and has told Mole never to go there. We badgers, we live in weird places, right? Yeah, I know. There was plenty to talk about on those short winter days when the animals found themselves around the fire. Still, the mole had a good deal of spare time on his hands. And so one afternoon he decided to go and explore the wild wood, and perhaps meet Mr. Badger. It was a cold, still afternoon when the mole slipped out of the warm parlor into the open air and pushed on toward the wild wood. There was nothing to alarm him at first. Intrigue. Twigs crackled under his feet, logs tripped him, but that was all fun and exciting. Then the faces began. It was over his shoulder that he first saw a face, a little evil face, looking out at him from a hole. When he turned, the thing had vanished. The mole passed another hole, and another, and then yes, no, yes. Suddenly a little narrow face with hard eyes had flashed up at for an instant and was gone. If he could only get away from the holes in the banks, he thought, there would be no more faces. He swung off the path and plunged into the untrodden places of the wood. Then the whistling began. Very faint and shrill it was, and far behind him, but somehow it made him hurry forward. Then, still very faint and shrill, it sounded far ahead of him, and made him hesitate and want to go back. Excuse me. As the mole stood there, a rabbit came running hard toward him. He waited, expecting it to swerve from him. Instead, the animal almost brushed him as it darted past. Get out of this, you fool! Get out! The mole heard him mutter as he disappeared down a friendly burrow. In panic, the mole began to run too. He ran up against things. He fell over things and into things. At last he took refuge in the deep, dark hollow of an old beech tree. He was too tired to run, and could only snuggle down into the dry leaves and hope he was now safe for a time. Meanwhile, the rat, warm and comfortable, dozed by his fireside. Then the fire crackled, and he woke with a start. He reached down to the floor for his verses, and then looked round for the mole. But the mole was not there. The rat left the house and carefully examined the ground outside, hoping to find the mole's tracks. There they were, sure enough, leading directly into the wild wood. The rat re-entered the house, strapped a belt around his waist, shoved a brace of pistols into it, and set off for the wild wood. It was already getting toward dusk when he plunged into the wood, all the time calling out cheerfully, "Molly, where are you? It's me, it's old Rat." He had patiently hunted through the wood for an hour or more, when at last he heard a little answering cry. He made his way to the foot of an old beech tree with a hole in it. And out from the hole came a voice crying, "Ratty, is it really you?" The rat crept into the hole, and there, sure enough, he found the mole, exhausted and still trembling. "Oh, Rat," the mole cried, "I've been so terribly frightened." "I quite understand," said the rat soothingly. "You shouldn't really have gone and done it, Mole." The mole was greatly cheered by the sight of the rat, and he stopped shivering. "Now then," said the rat, "you really must make a start for home. It will never do to spend the night here. It is far too cold for one thing." "Dear Ratty," said the mole, "I am sorry, but you must let me rest here a while longer. Fun to get home at all? Oh, all right, said the rat. Rest away. And presently dropped off into sleep, while the rat covered himself up too, and lay patiently waiting. When at last the mole woke up, the rat said, "Now then, we really must be off." He put his head out, and then the mole heard him say quietly to himself, "Hello." "What's up, Ratty?" said the mole. "Snow is up," replied the rat briefly, "or rather, down. It's snowing hard. Still, we must make a start. The worst of it is, I don't exactly know where we are." An hour or two later, they had lost all count of time. They pulled up. The snow was getting so deep that they could hardly drag their little legs through it. There seemed to be no end to the wood, and worst of all, no way out. "We can't sit here very long," said the rat. "There's a sort of dell down here where the ground seems all hilly and hummocky. We'll make our way into that and try and find some sort of shelter." They were investigating one of the hummocky bits when the point of the rat's stick struck something that sounded hollow. He worked till he could get a paw through, then called the mole to come and help him. Hard at it went the two animals, till at last the result of their labors stood full in view. In the side of what seemed to be a snowbank stood a solid-looking little door. On a small brass plate they could read by the aid of the moonlight, "Mr. Badger." The mole fell backward on the snow from sheer surprise and delight. "Rat!" he cried. "You're a wonder!" He sprang up at the bell pull, clutched it, and swung there. And from quite a long way off they could faintly hear a deep-toned bell. There was the noise of a bolt shot back, and the door opened a few inches, enough to show a long snout and a pair of sleepy, blinking eyes. "Now, the very next time this happens," said a gruff and suspicious voice, "I shall be exceedingly angry. Who is it this time, disturbing people on a night like this? Speak up now." "Oh, Badger," cried the rat, "let us in, please. It's me, Rat, and my friend Mole. We've lost our way in the snow." "What, Ratty, my dear little man!" exclaimed the Badger, quite a different voice. "Come along in, both of you at once. Well, I never lost in the snow." Two animals heard the door shut behind them with great joy and relief. The Badger looked kindly down on them and patted both their heads. "This is not the sort of night for small animals to be out," he said. "Come into the kitchen. There's a first-rate fire there, and supper and everything." He shuffled on in front of them, carrying a light, and they followed him down a long, gloomy passage into all the glow and warmth of a large, fire-lit kitchen. But the floor was well-worn red brick, and on the wide hearth burned the fire of logs. The kindly Badger thrust them down on a settle to toast themselves at the fire, and he bade them remove their wet coats and boots. Then he fetched them both dressing gowns and slippers. In the embracing light and warmth, warm and dry at last, with weary legs propped up in front of them, and a clink of plates being arranged on the table behind it seemed to the storm-driven animals, that the cold and tactless wild wood just left outside was miles and miles away, and all that they had suffered in it a half-forgotten dream. All right, we're going to finish with Jingle Bells, which apparently was written by James Lord Pierpont. That doesn't want to correct. Okay, great. Fun times. You know Jingle Bells, right? Dashing through the snow in a one-horse open sleigh, o'er the fields we go, laughing all the way. Bells on bobtail ring, making spirits bright. What fun it is to laugh and sing a sleighing song tonight. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. A day or two ago, I thought I'd take a ride, and soon Miss Fanny Bright was seated by my side. The horse was lean and lank, misfortune seemed his lot. He got into a drifted bank, and then we got upside. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. A day or two ago, the story I must tell. I went out on the snow, and on my back I fell. A Jack was riding by in a one-horse open sleigh. He laughed as there I sprawling lied, but quickly drove away. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Now the ground is, this one doesn't quite go. The ground is white, go it while, the ground is white, go it while you're young. Take the girls tonight and sing the sleighing song. Just get a bobtail bay, 240 as his speed. Hitch him to an open sleigh, and crack, you'll take the lead. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in one horse open sleigh. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one horse open sleigh. Right, buddy? All right. And that gets us to the section called Presents and Parties. And we will continue with that tomorrow, right, buddy? All right. So, no fuzzies. All right. So we will keep going tomorrow. We're about two-fifths of the way in. No, we're 3/5 of the way in. 2/5 left. I can't math. All right, guys. So we will see you tomorrow night for more Christmas stories. Good night, everyone.